Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Welcome. This is a Sports Trap. You know what this is. Sports Trap Podcast. My name is John Trapp. This is Mr. Khoa on the ones and twos. What it do, sir?
What up?
And a very, very special guest to my right, Mr. Brian from the Blueprint Film Company. How you doing, sir?
Doing very well. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man. I am so happy and honored for you to bless our podcast because at the end of the day, man, it makes us look better. It makes Khoa look like a superstar when he edits his stuff down. Mm-hmm. And, anybody that would bless us with their presence on this show, man, much appreciated.
I appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, it's
so,
actually my first podcast, so I don't really know what to do, man. Don't know what to do with my hands. Do I just keep them down, or how's this work with podcasts?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, I don't know. It whatever you do, just keep them out of your pockets.
Hey, at one point, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. And we kind of still don't, so.
Yeah, we're shooting from the hip.
I think we'll be all right.
Now, like I said, thank you for blessing us with your presence. I got the camouflage on because you know what this is? This is our very special fantasy football championship week podcast, bringing it to the people. Listen, we are big fantasy football players. I know you are too. And, from the novice to the experts, we like to give a little insight. And, these guys are in championship games this week. I think they all are actually playing each other in one of these leagues. Yeah.
It is true.
I have been privy to at least two leagues this year. We actually got one for the Sports Trap Podcast, Fantasy Football League. And there's another one that I'm involved with Khoa and his friends. We got another Fantasy League. I think that's what it's called.
Hey.
I don't know.
What is the Fantasy League called? You guys
The League.
The League. Okay.
The League.
That sounds imaginative. Yeah, y'all did a good job on that one.
That's Brian. Brian
It's been going on since 2007. So we've had a 13-year run in the same league.
That's
Dude,
the year
you
I
were playing
graduated
fantasy
school.
No, I was thinking diapers.
Shit, yeah. I mean, I'm only 9 years old, so I'm pretty good at fantasy right now.
Khoa, how many leagues are you involved this year?
6.
Jeez.
7 if you include the fantasy basketball when I just started.
That's a long league. I could never get into fantasy basketball, but how many leagues are you involved
I'm
in?
in 3 this year. I was in 5 last year, almost swept everyone, and I got disinvited in 2 leagues because I won. So
hold on, time out. So out of the 5 leagues that you were in, how many did you actually win?
I won 3, got second in 1, and then the last one I got like 5th. But,
wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good record. Khoa, what's your record look like this year?
Oh, man.
How many leagues did you make the playoff? You did 6. How many did you make?
I made the playoffs in 5 of 6.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
that's really good.
And then, and the one I didn't is the league, our league, the one that I was champion in last year. So, I mean, karma, I guess. But out of those 5 of the 6, 3 of those I am in the championship. So one of those
Pretty good.
with this long-haired beauty over here.
Yeah, tell him your name in the fantasy league.
What is? Oh, my team name is Dack Me Off Hardman.
That's good. Oh man, that's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
With 2 of the players that are the namesake of my team are not on my team anymore. So, Dak Prescott.
That is
and
not
Cole
bad.
Hardman.
That is not bad.
Poor Dak. Man.
What is your best team name that you?
Best team name, the one that has won me a lot, is the Chosen One, and I've had it 10 years at least. And my other one, I'm Chubbs Peterson. I don't know if y'all know who that is. That's a caddy from Happy Gilmore, the black dude. So he's been my good luck charm this year.
Yeah,
That's a good name, and it works on both levels. That's great.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately lost to Chris, the other one of our podcast hosts that we usually have on the show. I lost to him this week. in the semifinals. I actually lost both semifinals. I only have 2 fantasy league. My name in ours is Jimmy Trappolo, and I can't off the top of my head. I
Your
can't
Trap Star.
Trap Star.
Trap
That's
Star,
that.
there you go.
With the
That's
star
probably-
emoji.
Yeah.
So imaginative.
Oh my God.
So
But
fancy.
you know, the thing I'm most proud of in this league is I was actually number 1. I drafted number 1 in my both leagues actually, and I
That's
drafted.
right. You drafted first pick in
right.
both leagues.
Right. Listen. And I'm not gonna make any excuses. Listen, I at the end of the day, at best I can be third, right? But given the circumstance that I was number 1, who was the obvious number 1?
CMC, right?
Run
Exactly.
CMC.
And I chose them in both of my leagues, right? For that to be the case, then it actually means the next pick was 20. Or what is it? Yeah, 20.
What are you 12?
If you're a
From
10
first
man.
in the 10 man.
Oh,
10
10
league.
man. Okay, yeah.
Sorry. So from first all the way to 20, that was my next pick.
Yeah.
So everybody else got 2 picks, and I got the
you-
last of the second pick.
Do you remember who your second round picks were?
I want to say one was Dak
Who you get at
Prescott.
20.
I can't remember.
Dak, and you get the double pick. So
Right. I probably did like James Conner, Amari Cooper.
the Amari Dak combo.
No, not Dak. I misspoke. I had James Conner. I tried to go running back, then wide receiver. And some sort of combination like that. So, anyways, getting back to what I was saying was the fact that I chose 20th essentially, and I still made the playoffs. I still got basically third because I know I'm gonna win this
Sounds
week.
like you're just looking for a little pity party right now.
No,
'Cause I mean,
I think I drafted really
you
well.
still are not in the finals, so I mean, none of that matters. So.
Okay, let's be honest here. I lost the finals by 3 points. I mean, semifinal by 3 points.
that's rough.
Actually,
I'd rather
check
get
this
blown out.
Check this out. So I like to do a lot of shit talking, right? But
No way.
oh my god. So in our league, I kind of dumbed it down because the first time I'm even invited to this league, and I was specifically told not to go off.
Don't start no shit.
Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. And I
shit.
get that. Like I understand that. The thing was, Chris, me, and Khoa all in that league. So as long as it's between us, I'll shit talk all day. Just don't look for me, and you won't find me, right? But if you look for me, I'm coming with guns blazing. Right? I'm just that way. But I've always been that way. Like if I don't start nothing, but if I when I was growing up, I got not made fun of, but like it took me a while to catch up to everybody else with all the capping. Like they would make fun of my mom, and I'd get mad, right? I'd like just go off. Instead of getting back at them, I would just get frustrated and run off or like start fights or whatever.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Now what I do is like I don't have that off switch, so I started catching up and I started making fun of them, and I started making people cry. I felt
You're
bad,
fantasy bully.
but like I don't never, and I knew the power of my words, so I was like, you know what, I can't always be like this. So what I'll do is, as long as nobody talks shit to me, I won't say nothing. But as soon as you talk shit, all guns are out, right? Like it is what it is. You look for me, you found me. Now you can't turn me off. So that's the way I looked at it and I approached this league. Nobody was looking for me except for Chris, and he got it. And Chris got so mad. But he actually conceded and he said, I can't believe I lost to you. I can't believe this happened. Like he was so upset. And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna add to it, but I said what I said. That's it. All right. But the thing was, he actually had another player he forgot about. He actually had another player that was playing that week, and he didn't even look at his screen right, and he didn't recognize.
Oh, so he thought you'd already got in the
yeah,
bag.
like it was already done. He thought it was already
Damn.
done. Bro, his player caught one pass, and it was a touchdown, and I lost by 3
Who was it? You remember?
No, I think he caught more than one pass, but it was the Steelers guy, the Steelers wide receiver.
Claypool?
No, the only one that caught a touchdown.
Deontay?
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, he caught way more than just one pass.
No, I know. I'm exaggerating, but
Damn.
that touchdown won him the league. Won him that game.
Wait, what was the point difference before Deontay?
It started with 20 because the defense was playing, but the defense sucked to open the game. So it went down to like 13 point lead going into that game. And Deontay Johnson scored like 16 in our league.
Oh, yeah. Deontay almost cost me one of the finals or one of the semifinals because he was creeping up, and I think it was like a 25 or something point gap. And then Deontay had scored, I think, like 18, almost 19 points already with like the fourth quarter still to go. And I don't know if you remember that game, but he somewhere around that time, it was like a non-contact. Like he kind of like ran off and like grabbed his hamstring, just like on the side of the play. And I was like, yes, this is what I need. This is what I need. And I was like, it's like, don't break nothing, but just strain it to where you can't play the rest of the game. I thought he was going to be out, and he sat out on the sidelines for a little bit, and then before I knew it, he was fucking back in the lineup getting like 2 more catches or whatever. But luckily, I was still able to hold off. He didn't score. He didn't score again.
I didn't watch that game, man. I would have been. It's so weird to me. Like this, I have to step back sometimes, and I was bringing it up earlier. I have to step back, and I understand that we are kind of like moving chess pieces on real human beings, and they're the ones out there. But at the same time, when you get that update, and like you can't watch every single game, of course, unless you're watching like the red zone. But you get that update that so-and-so's injured, and you're playing against him, you're like, yes! It's weird to do that.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Definitely awful, but at the same time, it's
so
like,
bad.
I'm saved. This is it.
Yeah.
I made it.
He's like, I'm good. I got this week. All right, cool. Let's move on.
You forget these are human lives we're talking about.
But you know what? They get paid a lot of money. Even if they're hurt, they still get paid a lot of money.
That
so
is true.
do you think that the players get mad or kind of like get upset when they get nothing but Twitter notifications like, why aren't you playing this game? Why didn't you say like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Like,
I bet. Yeah.
They have
for
to.
Sure.
They get shit talked all the time. Why didn't you score? It's like, because we were up 35.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you want me to do? I don't know.
No, one of the rants that Chris went off on was like the fact that Tony Pollard started the game in place of Zeke off of Dallas. And Tony Pollard at the very in the fourth quarter when they didn't even need to score, they had already the game in the bag, had like 4 49er players hanging off him, and he shook them all and ran for the touchdown. He was so mad. He was like, that's just my luck. And I don't know. But anyways, let me ask you. So if you could choose one MVP for your fantasy team, Brian, who would you say done the best for you across?
It's easy. Josh Allen has been money all year long except like 2 weeks. But man, last week saved me. Scored me 37 almost. He almost had 2 touchdowns called back on top of that at the very end. I would have had 40 something. So
you played standard in that league.
We play half point.
Half point. Okay, yeah. I like half point. I think
Yeah.
half point's the best way to go. But in our leagues that we have, it's like PPR times 2.
Times 2.
Yeah.
So y'all are scoring like 190, 180,
dude.
right?
190?
Our
league
league is insane. 300 is like a solid.
Do y'all have
Yeah.
bonus points?
week.
Do y'all have anything else?
We have everything. We like first downs. If a play is over 40 yards, certain shit like that. Not only that, but we have IDPs as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. In one of the
nice.
leagues
Yeah.
in the sports trap, we only have 3 like IDP
IDP
flex.
is individual defensive player.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then
it's a
and then
flex.
yeah. So three
So you
three
can,
IDP
is
flex.
it IDP by itself, or is it like you can put a defensive player in your flex?
Oh no, sorry.
So it's just IDP.
Just IDP.
Right,
so
right.
3 IDP, but then in the other league, the Fantitsy, we have 6 IDPs, but they're actually by position.
Right.
2 D line, 2 D backs, and then 2 linebackers.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, you kind of
No, there are days or weeks where my defensive players will outscore my fucking offensive players. certain ones.
DBs. I try to go DB heavy, like people that could do linebacker and play defensive because they get the sacks and the
some
interceptions.
safeties or linebackers are usually the ones that are scoring the most because they're just everywhere. They're in the middle. They're tackling the running backs, the quarterbacks,
Right.
and sometimes tight ends, receivers. They'll play wide
My
too.
defensive star across all boards was Jamal Adams from.
Oh man,
He got traded from the Jets.
Ooh.
He was still getting like double-digit points,
Mm-hmm.
but he got traded from the Jets to Seattle. Oh man, he was like getting.
No, Jamal
Like,
Adams is good.
as a defensive player, he's getting 15 to 20 points every week for me. But so Josh Allen, tidbit here, like nerd stat, he went from the 20th most accurate quarterback, if not worse, to like one of the most like top 5 accurate quarterbacks in 1 year.
yeah, in 1 year it's been crazy because I had him last year. I actually traded last year, got him out of there. But man, from last year to this year, he has changed. He is one of the more accurate ones. I appreciate.
But
the
he's
hell
always
out of
been
it.
a good runner though.
Yeah, always a
always
good runner, huge arm, and this year he's just got it down. I think it's been Diggs that has helped him out because he is just grabbing everything, and he's getting 14 to like 17 targets a game. Like that is how you become accurate when you got someone as good as Diggs, and then John Brown. If he could ever stay healthy, he would be good. Beasley's been a monster this year too. So
Beasley had spurts.
yeah, that's
Because
true. That's
I
true.
picked him up a couple games after he had a good game, and then it was just like dud.
Yeah,
right?
he's like the Marvin Jones, where he'll hit like 3 touchdown game, and then you're like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna get him," and then he goes like 3 duds, and then he'll go off again, just ruin your team.
So are you a Bills fan at all?
No, not a Bills fan. I'm a Packers fan. So
Ooh.
Oh, look
I'm,
at you!
Go Pack, go!
Did you pick any fantasy team? Did you have Brett
Favre?
Uh,
Did you pick Brett Favre?
Aaron Rodgers?
0 Rodgers this year. I wanted him, and I was gonna pick him
0?
late. I was gonna pick him late because I didn't think anyone would, and then I think he went in like the 8th in our league, which is about right. But that's probably the best steal in the.
Absolutely,
in fantasy,
that's a
man.
great
He
one.
was- yeah, he
Aaron
was
Rodgers
so
at
good.
8 is good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Well, who's your star? Qual?
Well, I was
It's gotta be Devontae.
I was
right?
hoping it was going to be CMC. I got first pick in one of my leagues. One of the leagues that I'm actually in the final that I got CMC, but I also got Mahomes in that league, and I got him at 3rd pick, and I was like, man, is this too soon to get him? But like you said, by that strategy, when you're first pick, man, you kind of have to go reach because you got another 20,
right.
That's exactly right.
20
Right.
24, whatever picks until it comes back. So when it comes to that team, let me tell you about the dud on that team, though. So this is the one team that we do it a little differently because we don't do an online draft. We do a live draft in person.
I like those better though.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
like
no.
those better.
It's fun, like the aspect. So everybody's on a true like countdown timer, but we're usually all in person. This year we're a little more spread out because of COVID. But we still like are like video chatting, zooming or whatever, and so everybody's doing it live. And I panicked and for my my 10th round.
You
I
can't
picked
panic on the 10th round.
Yeah, there's no panicking. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like I understand panic in the first 2, 3 rounds, maybe.
I picked Damian Williams.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
not too panicky
They
though.
talked about him in the preseason,
Yeah, they
though,
did.
about him
They
being
did.
good, being
No,
the main back.
He was supposed to be something nice because
Oh.
you didn't know if it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You taught me that.
No, not Daryl. Damian. Damian didn't play a snap this season. He was never projected to.
Then why'd you draft him then?
Well, because I'm an idiot.
because he panicked in the 10th
Yeah.
round.
And I think in my brain I was thinking Daryl, but you forget
right.
that there's Daryl and Damian, and that already
Both
makes
Chiefs,
it
right?
confusing. They're both Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They're both
like-
running backs, and so it
Damian
was. And I
Williams
should have
and-
like they try to give me an out because they're usually pretty brutal about it. Like once you say your pick's locked in. It's like a verbal commitment. But then right when I said Damian Williams, I mean like audibly, multiple people were like, "Are you sure?" Like Damian Williams, and I was like, "Yeah, man." And I didn't want to be a bitch about it, so I was like, "Yeah, Damian Williams, lock it in."
Oof.
And we use like a little spreadsheet that you can like. It's a pretty interactive one where they have all the players' names. It's like an Excel spreadsheet where once you type it in, it'll like autofill it for you. with the
Nice.
player.
So it was DA.
When
DA,
they
Damien and
no
Daryl?
So when they were typing in Damien, they couldn't even find it because his name wasn't even in the spreadsheet, which is already a sign. I was like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. So
Wow.
my team name for that league is hashtag Damian Williams.
Yeah, I can't.
And I'm in the motherfucking final. Fuck all of you.
Yeah, well, hey, that's a good out because it's like, sheesh. I've never thought that somebody could panic in the 10th round, but you've proven me wrong.
Hey, man, every
But
round
you-
is important. So, I mean, at that point, it's just like I care just as much about the last few rounds as I do the first round.
Okay. So
If
that
anything,
was your
you
dud.
shouldn't be panicking the first round. You should know by then who the fuck you're picking. To me, first few rounds.
I've
you
heard
still-
stories.
'cause you
though.
still got- you
I've
still
heard
got the
stories.
open-
Like you get drunk. You're
It's
you're,
open.
No, but your first pick may not be there by the time you want to pick. So you're like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Well, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Hey man, that's that. Hey, lesson number 1: don't put your eggs in one basket and don't pick somebody that doesn't
Don't
exist.
pick Damian.
Yeah. Don't panic in the 10th round either.
Right. So Brian, who's your dud?
Dud. Probably Boston Scott. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. Honestly, I didn't think what's his name was actually going to play much.
The Philly running
Miles
back.
Sanders.
Yeah, Miles.
Miles
I
Sanders.
thought him and Boston would split. And I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was going off last year, and that's always a fucking bad move,
In PPR though, he had a couple games where he was double digits, but he
Yeah.
also had I think a couple games where I don't know if he did it all year, but I know he did a couple games where he was catching punt returns and stuff. And hourly you get points for yardage on punt
man,
returns.
y'all got it going on over there.
It's
Man.
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah, like our goal is to hit 300 every week. You know?
It's
So
dumb. It's so dumb. But it's great. It's exciting to see like these fucking high ass numbers.
Chris tried to get me to play in a league with 2 quarterbacks. I was like, no, dude. If you can't,
I've never
that's the
played
thing.
in a 2 QB league.
I don't like that because you don't see 2 quarterbacks on the field. Like, let me give me that facade of a fake team that I could potentially be a GM of, and this is what I'm doing week in and week out. There's no 2 quarterbacks on any one team, so it ruins a facade for me. Like it's fantasy for a reason. So my dud, and this may be kind of counterintuitive, but my dud would probably be Christian McCaffrey, just because he was number 1, and there's a lot like it happens a lot. So season-ending injuries, but this one was a little different because 1, he was my first pick, and then 2, every week that he actually played, I won. Every week on both leagues that I play in, I won because even if he played half a game, his numbers were still better than anybody else that played during that season, except for maybe like Derrick Henry. Not the season, but the week, right? So every week that I played him, even if he played half a game, if he like was out by the second quarter or third quarter, I still won because he had racked up enough points for me. But every week as well, you were holding your breath because they wouldn't necessarily say he was out. They would say he has a chance, or at the on
about the
a
worst
Friday or Saturday before the game, he was like, okay, yeah, he's out, and he did it almost. I think he was on an IR for like 3 or 4 weeks, but every other week he was just like, we weren't sure, doubtful or maybe or 50%, but.
Yeah, that means you have to keep him on your roster. You can't put him in IR for the second. So it's just like, do I play the guy? Do I drop him? What am I doing? What, he's out this week, right? They already ruled him out?
Yeah,
It's
Just got the notification. Luckily, I have Mike Davis, so
that was a good backup, though. Man, he's been money all year.
Yeah.
He's been really good.
I think I think that at some point I should have traded for Mike Davis. What's your philosophy on trading?
I did that. And, I'm usually, like you said, I rarely trade. And I don't know, maybe I am, scared, but I also am very confident about how I draft. So I know I draft him for a reason. But, sometimes you can just kind of foresee certain things. And, when it came to that, I had a friend who is funny enough, the guy who traded to me, I'm playing him in the final. he traded me Mike Davis for, I believe it was Brandon Cooks and Raheem Mostert.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I was hesitant at first because this was also like the last week that Mike
could
Davis
trade.
would have started.
Right.
And so CMC was projected to come back the week right after. And
Right.
he did. And he didn't stay for long, but he came back.
3 quarters.
Yeah.
I'm on that week.
So I was like, you know what? I guess let me just do it. Because I felt good about Mostert, but he wasn't a sure shot either. And I didn't want to give up because Brandon Cooks had just had that fantastic week. I think and that's like, it kind of scared me. I was like, man, is he going to just pop off after this? But I pulled the trigger. I was like, all right, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, I remember that week. I dropped Cooks because I had to do, your bye weeks and stuff like that. I dropped him. Week after, that's when he starts going off. Oh, right when Bob got fired.
Yeah.
That's when everything changed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when everything changed for him.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good this year.
Oh, and I'm mistaken. I didn't just get Mike Davis. I got Mike Davis and CeeDee Lamb.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was
no.
like, you know what? I like CeeDee. CeeDee was a good replacement for Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he's a good wide receiver 3 or 4.
Who is your surprise? Like, who did you? I mean, it does not necessarily have to be on your team, but like, who did you think that maybe at the time when they got drafted, who did you think that was like, oh man, this dude doesn't know what he's doing when he drafts this guy, but then he actually ends up being like somebody like that blows everybody out the water because things that come to mind are like Jared Jeffries, because when I think about that, I was thinking about the rookie class of the wide receivers, and everybody was supposed to be.
Oh, Justin Jefferson?
Is that what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Minnesota that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin
Man,
Jefferson.
he's been amazing.
I
Jared
was like,
Jeffries.
what name
Is
did
that-
you just
that- I
make
think
up
that's
right
NBA.
now? I was thinking Justin Jefferson, but then you said some white name that I don't know what you're talking about.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think Justin Jefferson is probably the biggest surprise. Which, because I was going to bring up too, when I was thinking about duds, I mean, I have to put Thielen on that list, man. Like, I drafted him 4th,
wow.
and I mean, I guess overall he hasn't done terribly, but not to the quality of what he should be as their number one.
Well, did anybody draft Mike Thomas?
I didn't. And, I regretted it at first because I love Mike Thomas. I had him last year, and I was like, man, this dude is just a monster. And
Right.
I never got the chance to draft him this year. But
I think that's like a surprise dud right there.
He was a huge dud. I mean, he actually played quite a bit also.
Right.
And still just did not put it. I mean, I guess when Breeze broke, what was it? Like all his ribs, like 30 fractures or something. Like, what are you going to do?
Punctured
Taysom
lung?
was pretty good while he started. I mean, he was good for fantasy for sure. Man, I liked it.
yeah, dude, the fucking Swiss Army knife, man.
Yeah.
Put Taysom
I
everywhere.
think Ezekiel's another dud. With all the-
James Robinson was a surprise to me. 'cause,
That's
like,
probably
I had him
on the running back side. That's probably the big surprise.
I
there.
overlooked him, and I was also, if we're going to talk about it, who are y'all scared to draft? Like, for one, Dalvin Cook. I was like, I'm not drafting him. He's gonna get hurt.
Really?
He's gonna get hurt.
Really?
I was scared.
I wanted
out.
him.
Yeah.
I had him last year, and I wanted him, but I never got the chance
Yeah,
to.
I was too scared. Him, and then who else was it that I was scared of? I was like, I'm not drafting him in the first. I just don't trust it. I think it was Chubb. Also, I was like, Chubb. They're both solid, but like they get hurt, and especially when you need him, it's always like at the end they fuck you.
I think Chubb was more for me was like he's gonna split carries with Hunt. He wasn't always gonna see all the carries as opposed to Dalvin Cook. He basically got the lion's share of all the carries, and there's some times where his backup didn't even touch the ball. So
Yeah, I think that's true. With Chubb and Hunt, I mean, that's probably the best 1-2 punch there is when it
Yeah,
comes to
for
running
sure.
back duos. And so, yeah, that's I would see how that's scary because it's like, man, he's good, but when you have that good of a backup, I mean, how are they not going to give him?
with Chubb, I didn't want to. I felt like the value of how high you were going to choose
exactly.
him wasn't going to get the return.
I took Chubb
Right.
first in Sports Trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Hunt was so low, his value was actually better.
Oh, yeah.
When you drafted him at the position that you drafted him, so you got the better return.
Yeah.
At like I said, at the average draft position that you would get the running back. So I got Kareem Hunt in one of my drafts, and he did well for me. He wasn't like a running back one, pretty much, even when Chubb was out. But he was always like either a running back 2 or 3. You could flex him in and get good return.
Oh, for sure. Was he your RB2 or 3 or like your flex?
It just depends on what if not Nick Chubb was playing. Like he was still better than probably. He was no worse than my third best running back during the whole time. Like I also had Mozart, but that didn't end up doing too well.
Great year last year, man. He won me the championship last year. Well, he had a good run at the end there.
So yeah, like I said, I'm in 2 semifinals. Well, I lost my semifinal, so I'm in the third place game, and I feel pretty confident on both ends. It was good. I got up to 4 or 5 leagues playing at one time. At one point, it was just too much for me. I'm too obsessive. When I get into something, I get balls deep.
Oh yeah. That's what I heard.
But when I get into things like that, like it could be video games, it could be a TV show. That's why I don't watch TV too much. Like I have to finish the season. So anyways, one point I felt like I needed to like a detox. So I stopped. And Chris was like, "Man, you can't have a show. You can't do this if you're not gonna have a fantasy football team." So last year was the first year I actually came back to it. And I always knew I was pretty good. This is me shit talking.
Wow.
But, getting into Khoa and Chris's side league as well, fantasy league, I wanted to kind of like see where I was as far as a fantasy football player. But this year has been one of the most toughest just because of COVID. Because like there were weeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Weeks where it wasn't your player was injured. He was like he didn't follow protocol. He would put himself in a position where other people that did have COVID, so by proxy was essentially they were suspended.
Yeah.
Because they were just in the same room without a mask, right?
Yeah. I still remember when it was
talk to the Broncos about that.
When your team, the Niners, that happened to a couple of theirs, and they had to take out Debo and Brandon Ayuk and whoever else. And I remember that was the game that Richie James went off.
Oh yeah.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And I have Ayuk in a couple of leagues. He's one that I would say was I think a great steal.
Yeah.
Like a dark horse.
Chris
great
was
value.
bigging him up. But I'm such a Niner fan, and we've had so many like just bad drafts as far as wide receivers.
Worst luck this year for y'all.
Oh,
for
yeah.
49ers fans.
Injury,
Most injuries I've ever seen.
We didn't even bring
ever.
up Kittle. I mean, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah, and y'all lost Bosa. Who else did y'all lose?
Ooh, yeah.
Man, y'all had... It was ravaged. And then on top of that, y'all lost your home field advantage. I think, is it still that way? They can't even play?
We can't even,
yeah.
We can't even play it in Santa Monica or whatever, wherever they play, the Levi Stadium. Speaking of which, like just to get off a little bit of fantasy football, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Super Bowl? Who are your favorites going into the Super Bowl?
Kansas City.
AFC, Kansas City, okay.
Or the Bills. I'm rooting for the Bills. I'm going with the Bills.
Okay.
I could see it, man.
But I feel like you're mixing fantasy with actual.
I don't know. I still think Josh Allen can get it done. He's the only one that can keep up with points, and that's the only way you're going to beat the Chiefs, right? You've got to score 35. You got to score 27 at least, because Mahomes is going to, on his bad days, he's going to put up 28 probably, right?
I think that if Josh Allen were to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, we were talking about this last week. We think that J.J. Watt has a statue already built in Houston in his future. I think if Josh Allen can get the Bills back to the Super Bowl, I mean, I don't even think if he actually needs to win it. I think Josh Allen could become a legend in Buffalo just by getting to the Super Bowl and beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Because I think like you're right in a sense. I think that's especially watching what the Pittsburgh Steelers have done lately. It's pretty much a two-headed race in the AFC. You might get Lamar Jackson kind of like sneak in as a dark horse, but the two top AFC teams right now for me are Chiefs and the Bills. So who is your NFC?
Well, I got to root for my team. I got to go with the Packers. Packers or, man, Saints? I don't know. I mean, their defense is so good. I don't know. That's my 2 picks in the NFC. Probably Saints and Packers.
Breeze got to get it together though.
Yeah.
I mean, he still has some weeks anyway, so they're going to be fine. What are they right now? They're what's their record? Like
I think they've only lost like 3 or 4.
3 or
But
4?
Packers have what? Lost 2?
3. They've lost 3.
So they lost to Minnesota, right?
Yeah, who did they lose to? I have to look that up.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember off the top of my head. Khoa, help me out here. But
Who are you trying to think about?
what was who the Packers lose to? But I do think that it is pretty much a 2-headed race in NFC, but I don't think it's as close. Like where you have hope for the Bills to be able to beat
They're really
the
not.
Kansas City.
There's no way.
I don't see anybody being
There's
as
no
good as Green
way.
Bay.
There's no way the Chiefs are going to lose. Unless Mahomes just has the worst day of his life. And it's the worst day of his life. He's still scoring like 3 passing touchdowns. Like, the guy's incredible.
I will say they keep going down. Like every game that they have in doubt is because they start slow. So if they start slow, at some point that magic is going to run out.
Oh, yeah. So
I really believe that.
Green Bay lost to Tampa Bay. They got slaughtered that game. I remember that.
yeah.
That was a beatdown. Then Minnesota, and then Indianapolis.
In OT.
Oh yeah,
In OT,
they had a dud
yeah.
in Indy. But how realistic do you believe it to be that Tom Brady can get them back to?
He has the most weapons I've ever seen as far as a receiving core goes. Like, God, you got Gronk, Godwin, Mike Evans, and apparently Scotty Miller. He'll just catch the 40-yard bombs out of nowhere, man. He has so many weapons. Ronald Jones is looking
poor
good.
man's
You got
Julian
Fournette.
Edelman,
Like, they
dude.
are so stacked. They have so
I
much
believe you didn't
depth.
mention Antonio Brown.
Oh, yeah, AB. Yeah, I totally forgot about AB. How could you forget
That
that
could be
guy?
a fantasy team in
I thought
itself.
you said AB first. Did you?
No.
not? I thought you said- no.
Who did I say? I don't know.
Who cares?
Godwin, I think.
Yeah, but no, that could actually in other years could actually be be a fantasy team in itself. It just doesn't seem to come together. But you never know, man. That Tom Brady magic. Ever since I saw the tuck rule, I just as much as I want to doubt Tom Brady, I just can't necessarily just say, you know what, it's over. It's never over for Tom Brady,
I tell you, never doubt TB12.
yeah.
He's a winner. He's just a winner.
Any other fantasy talk that we kind of like glossed over that you want to revisit? Because like I said, I'm going to 2 leagues this year has been, I think, perfect. It's my niche. It's like where I fit in. I'm not taking so much time away from my family and less sleep. That I get to actually, have a life. So I don't know what it is to have 6 leagues and 3 leagues this year, but you don't feel like that's an alleviation at this point?
So for me, okay, advice for newbies and people just starting out: get in more leagues than you can think of. Why? Because you're probably not going to win any of them, but you have a better chance. At least you have more chances.
That's a good philosophy.
And some of my friends, this is our home league, the one I'm in, that Khoa and I'm in. Some of them are like, I only do 1 league and that's it. I'm like, that's cool, but that's only 1 chance to win. So how do you feel about that? Like, and they're okay with it, but I'm just like, man, like we do a $200 league, so payouts like $1,600.
That's not bad.
600, 200, or something like that. So
I've been in those types of leagues where the pay is higher, and I'm just like, dude, if you think about it, for 16 weeks, you're putting in some time.
You put in way more than $1,600.
Yeah.
But you know what? What I do, and I get away with it.
But that's
with
at 200, which I feel like is pretty. I mean, that's the highest that I'm in, right?
Right.
I'm in some leagues where it's $25.
Right.
Which is like, for like
Is
leagues
it?
that are starting out or people
Yeah.
that are more
See, but I
recreational.
think-
But it's a fun
I
league,
think-
right? It's
right,
like your
right.
homies in it, right?
But
So-
still,
No,
are
but-
you not putting in the same amount of time over the same amount of weeks?
No, that's the thing though. If
How
it was
many-
free, you wouldn't. But if it has money, it gives people more.
But what I'm telling you is the difference in price ratio per hour that you put in. 25 versus 200. It's still 16 weeks.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And I was like, wait, hold on. That's why I started to kind of, I started to kind of care about certain leagues a little more.
Right.
Not to say that I didn't care about like our league, the one that I did terrible in. I did try. I just happened to fucking do terrible in it. But I was like, okay, I knew that our league. I was like, all right, this is the one I'm actually most invested in financially. So I gotta keep up with this. Like I really like what's going on. And I have to tell you, like I didn't expect to do as well as I did. I know it's not over, but I was like, man, even to get like I'm in second place record wise, just behind Brian, and then we made it both to the finals. And because I feel like I had a pretty tough team, losing my starting quarterback Dak, and I was like, dude, how am I gonna fucking replace Dak? And my QB situation since then has been pretty grim, but it's like gotten by. But yeah, I mean, as far as like doing multiple leagues, I wouldn't say I'd do it because of that. What Brian said, I don't really think I do it by choice. I'm just really bad at saying no. And if friends invite me,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
and I'm just like, all right, like, oh, I don't want, and then I get FOMO, like, so I was like, man, I don't want to miss out. Like, I want to shit talk. I want to like have competition. And when I joined Brian's, I thought that I was gonna know more than just Brian, but it was like him and his like longtime close friends,
Right.
and I don't know any of these guys. And not only that, but we don't even have a group chat. So I was like, man, I can't even talk shit. I don't know anyone's names. I just know their team names. And I was like, well, that's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's not fun, but that takes away one of the fun factors of fantasy, getting to
sure,
fucking
yeah.
Which
shit
kind
talk.
of leads me into what I got into fantasy football for. Was actually not just the shit talking, but the actual in-person drafting.
Yeah.
Like my first fantasy, how did you get started? Just real quick, because my first fantasy
I don't remember.
experience was we're all in the same room.
Go to
Like-
live draft, man.
Right,
I've
live
never done one. I've always wanted to do
Oh,
it.
it's so
It's
fun.
It's got to be way better.
But it takes
it's fun.
forever.
Oh, yeah,
like this
yeah.
whole timing thing that the computers have given us.
No, but
ability-
not if you're diligent about it. Trust me, if you have people that know what they're doing, it'll go just as
No,
fast.
we were so drunk. We were so drunk.
That's your fault.
He's like,
Don't blame-
all right, your time's up. He's like, Brett Favre. It's like, okay. But like in the computer, if you don't choose by the time being up or by the 3 minutes or minute and a half or whatever your league is allotted, you get auto drafted. Right? In live, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, they gave you
You
an
need
out
you need to have a system
for
of
Darryl
doing
Williams.
it. Yeah, what I'm
Darryl
saying.
Williams.
Yeah,
It was his panic pick in the 10th round.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Then I can understand in live, it's maybe a little bit more like the eyes are on you, like who?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
for
cool thing
sure.
about it too is, like actually like we have a big dry erase board that we
Right,
that we
right.
have just for that stays up all year with your draft picks, and that's like the commissioner has that and keeps that.
Nice.
So that's like, and then every year we'll erase it and then we'll do it again.
I wanna do
so that's
another
like
live.
that's another thing that is like, oh yeah, you get to like physically see it. And then if you can actually do it in person, like sometimes we'll have to have people FaceTime or Zoom in.
Right.
But if you actually can all do it in person, it's even better. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
like,
it's your
take
friends.
shots in
Yeah,
between every
yeah.
round.
Like I think y'all went to Vegas, right? For one of them.
Yeah, I actually didn't make that. I didn't make that trip,
Oh,
but
yeah.
half of them were in Vegas, and I drafted.
Sorry,
I know.
bad memory. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's all good.
So I was gonna ask you, how did you get involved in fantasy?
My brother influenced me sports, and my dad. They both forced me into sports, and at the time,
Yeah, you're
they're
gonna
like,
take this ball.
Yeah, you're gonna
fucking run.
You're gonna watch it. You're gonna do this. Blah blah blah. Like, I mean, they were really hard on me as far as sports goes. Like, you're gonna play every single sport. Blah blah blah. And I did for the longest time, and I took it for granted for so long, and then I learned to just love it, and I can't stop watching sports. I think it's like the underdog stories, like those are the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
I think it's the last true reality TV sports
For sure.
itself.
Yeah, and people don't get that. It's like, it's my
Yeah.
drama. It's
Yeah.
like, y'all go watch Vampire Diaries. That's cool, but I'm going to watch a live drama happen, Like,
And then,
No matter how scripted it is. And people will use that to kind of like debate it too. And it was like, oh, you don't think sports are like scripted and fixed and all this bullshit? And I was like, yeah, some of it probably is.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like the what they're doing out there, that's real. The sweat,
Right.
the hard work they put in. I mean, you see it.
Yeah.
Like you can't fake that. You know what I mean?
You can't fake being an athlete.
Yeah. Certain things, I get what you're saying. And it's like you take it for what it is. You
Fucking
know?
referee.
Or
He's a homer.
Or whatever, you know, like
Fucking
like
love the
shit like
Packers.
flops and stuff like that. Oh, this is part of
Talk all the shit you want. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, sitting pretty right now. Fucking cheesehead.
Yeah, man.
No, yeah.
Speaking
But
of
yeah,
others.
no. And you know, like just like he said, like I'm a sucker for the underdog story and just a story of sports in general. Some of the greatest like I love documentaries and sports
oh, yeah.
documentaries.
30 for 30s, man. That's where it's at.
Specifically, yeah, 30 for 30s, and just like they do such a great job. Even like when they do, I was a huge fan of like 24/7 when they do when HBO does. They follow
the
fighters.
boxing. Yeah.
They did such a beautiful job with that. And then when Showtime tried to copy it, and it was awful. You fucking suck, Showtime. But
Did you
bring HBO back to boxing.
So the next evolution I feel like that I would get involved in, and I'm kind of scared because, like I said, I go all in when I do these things, is betting on games, like betting the spread, betting the over under. I like to pick games as it is, but like I feel like if I have more skin in a game where it's actually a quick turnaround, like a positive negative. If I get one in like really good, especially in a parlay where you bet multiple, and if it hits every one,
That's the best way, man.
bro. I think I would get even more so into that, and I'm
Low
kind of
risk,
scared.
high reward.
Yeah.
That's my favorite way. I don't really sports bet. I have a lot of friends that do, and don't get me wrong, like I enjoy the act of like gambling, I guess you say. Like I love going to Vegas and playing those games. But sports betting, yeah. I mean, I feel the same. I don't sports bet.
I'm scared too. That's why I don't do it. I'm scared that I'm gonna get addicted to it.
I think I am a little bit too, but I want to just enjoy the game for what it is because now I know people who will sports bet and they'll play fantasy, right? And they'll be mad for multiple reasons depending on if that outcome isn't perfect for their fantasy team and for their betting, and it's like shit.
I do notice that when these weird endings where like you get a safety at the very last minute of the game and it takes the spread from. I recognize. I'm like,
you would be
my
surprised
God, so many
how
people
many times the outcome will be like spot on from what the Vegas prediction was.
Right.
Yeah,
I
don't understand how they can predict so well. They know. I mean, I'm sure it's like a consulate. Like there's a whole bunch of them putting their shit together, but like they'll fix it. Just a couple hours before they'll fix it and drop the line or raise the line, and they just nail it almost every time.
What's the rule?
Do you bet?
I don't bet, and so I do have a lot of friends that do bet, and it's for the same reason that I won't, is because I'm going to get mad for a field goal at the end, or running back kneels at the 1 yard line, doesn't score, or shit like that. I mean, that's fantasy related as well.
Yeah,
I'd be so mad.
Yeah,
I'd be so pissed,
dude.
Have you guys seen that one movie? Dude, what is it with Adam Sandler?
Oh, Star Wars.
No.
yes, Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
pretty sure
exact-
he is Han Solo, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my God, I'm about to.
Han Baca.
Like this podcast is about
Uncut?
to end right now.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Dude.
Wow.
I saw a snippet of that, like a 15-minute snippet in the middle of it, and so I didn't know what was like going on, but I've never been more like on edge,
Right.
Just for something, I was like, what is? I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, dude, this is intense
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like how much shit can you get yourself
Yeah.
into, and you just pour it on
and then
pour it on,
fucking
just
Kevin Garnett pops up, and I'm like, what? Huh? It's like, what the fuck is?
If you guys get a chance to check out that
No,
movie,
I
it
need
is
to.
intense. Like you've watched the whole
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
You so you only got 15 minutes in?
Yeah,
You
but
haven't-
like towards
you
like,
don't know
towards
what
like the
happened.
middle. I don't even know the beginning.
Oh,
or
bro,
like,
you got to
no,
finish
nothing.
that movie.
I gotta.
I'm-
I'll go back and.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after what we talked about, with the betting, sports betting, it's an
Yeah.
intense movie. Like
The
you said,
only-
it's like on the edge, like
Yeah.
like one thing after the other, and it's like is this guy ever gonna win? And you know, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. One of his best projects.
Did you ever watch Silver Linings Playbook?
No, what's that? Is that a doc?
No, it's a
No,
total
is that
it's a
Andy-
fucking chick flick.
Yeah, is that
You watch chick flicks?
Bradley, well, I
Bradley
love chick
Cooper.
flick. Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
No way. That was terrible. That made me
what?
depressed.
I mean, it was. I forget honestly what the whole movie's about, but I remember it being there was like a dance competition, but they're also sports betting. They're from Philadelphia. They're
Philly,
huge
yeah. The guy
Eagles
was
fans, so they're
Bradley
betting
was-
on. I think it was Eagles Cowboys, their rivalry or whatever, or the Giants. Maybe it's the Giants. But anyway,
NFC East. Yeah.
but that was like a big part of like the plot of like them like I guess like winning that bet or whatever. It was that's the only. I'm just trying to think of movies that had like sports betting.
I may be like
As a
it
part
might
of
be
it.
an unpopular opinion. Shout out to Shots and Thoughts, right? But the unpopular opinion is that movie was about two crazy people going through some shit and it's around dancing and sports.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
I don't
it.
think that's
It
an
is-
unpopular opinion. That's what I took away from it.
Yeah, it was it was not something I enjoyed.
It was funny because that's for that same reason. I was like, I sent I think I sent that movie or whatever to Calvin. I was like, dude, this is your life, dude. Dance and sports betting, dude.
Shout out Calvin.
I just thought it was
Nice.
I just thought it was funny.
I wanna switch it over a little bit, and as of right now, it's looking like the Rockets, Houston Rockets game is in jeopardy.
Oh, it's already canceled. It's already postponed.
Wow!
Yeah.
So
Game
this is-
one, already
this is
done.
live news right now.
Not
Game
good.
one,
Not
first game of
good.
the season,
Yeah,
postponed or canceled?
postponed.
Postponed.
Yeah.
Postponed. Okay.
Man, that's not good for the NBA.
Cancel
They
the
need to go back to
season.
the bubble immediately because it's not going to work.
Well, not with
How are they gonna bubble with 32? Is it 32? How many other teams? are there?
we talked about this last week a little bit, but you know, James Harden likes to, you know, partake in the little
Oh.
festivities.
Don't talk about my boy.
Go Houston Rockets. So, yeah, he apparently went to a lady
Gentlemen's
friend
club.
of his
Yeah.
party, showing him show off.
Parentheses, not a strip club.
Not a
End
strip club.
Oh,
parentheses.
that's what it was. Okay, I didn't. I read the headline, but I didn't actually get into it. So he just had a friends that has.
in a venue. It wasn't a house. It was in a venue. It looked like a club from the background. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But it was like the lights. It had the whole setup, the curtains, the couches, and everything. And you know, I don't. It could have been another time. I don't think it was, but it looked like something fresh and
Yeah.
within this past week that came up and popped
I mean,
up.
he confirmed it. He posted on his
See, and
Instagram
that's another
story
thing,
about
like,
it.
You know, I don't. Somebody needs to talk to him in a sense of like, you don't. Your perception is wrong. Your perception is wrong, and what I mean by that is like, you do not understand how many eyeballs are on you, and you don't understand what it is that the NBA and the Houston Rockets are trying to do as far as keeping up a league in these times. They gave you specific protocols, but nobody's saying like, hey, you know, it may not be the best idea to go to this party, especially without a mask,
Yeah.
especially with a bunch of people coming from a bunch of different avenues. Like even us, you and me and Khoa, Brian, me and Khoa, we go get tested on a regular basis on a week. Just to come here, I went to go get tested, and Khoa got tested. Brian, you get tested like once a week. You said.
Yeah, all our clients require it, so we're always getting tested.
And so, you know, we're doing the best that we can, but they're on a different level as far as like going from city to city every 2 or 3 days. They deal with, what is there? Let me see, 25 different players itself on any given team, and you
Yeah.
got 30 teams.
Yeah.
You know, from different cities. Then you add all the the workers that are NBA workers that put the production together, and then you're
Yeah.
asking about the coaches and everybody.
Just
So-
on average, how many more people they're around than like
Exactly.
the average person,
You
right?
know,
Even just for work, and then when they want to have their own social life and do that shit too, and it's like, man, like, dude, I want you to live your life. Don't get me wrong, but why are people mad? I mean, it's you broke protocol, right? They said that you're not allowed to go to, what was it, bars, clubs, lounges, which I think that venue or whatever fit that description. So in itself already, and the fact that he was shown not wearing a mask during it, you know, it's just like, dude, you're not helping your fucking cause. And it's like really hard to like root for you. I know I'm wearing his number in his like shirt right now, and I always have rode for Harden, but I just, you know, like I was talking to Brian about it earlier, and I was like, dude, like I just feel like he like he's like purposely trying to do what he can to get out of the city.
Yeah, he wants out. He wants out, I think.
you think he's self-sabotaging at this point?
It could be. I mean, Stephen A., you know, he brings it up quite a bit. He's also, you know, just kind of like the headline king. He'll just do anything to get you to clickbait or something like that. But, you know, he had a good point. He's just like, he keeps doing exactly what not to do so he can get out. And you know what? Who knows? Because media always twists everything, especially like Houston in general. It doesn't matter. We always get dogged all the time. It's just how it is.
Yeah, he was bringing up last week that Houston as a city itself, when it comes to sports, is
We're a
kind
fucking
of
punching bag.
Yeah, snake
Yeah,
bitten.
yeah.
Dude, if Florida is America's trash can, Houston is America's punching bag.
Hey, I like that. I'll be a punching bag. That's all right. We take the hits and we roll with them.
There it is. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Florida. I didn't know.
That's
nothing,
what
nothing
Deshaun
personal.
Watson's been doing.
Yeah, Deshaun, man.
I was
Love Deshaun.
telling Khoa last week on the podcast is like at some point I feel like the Rockets just say, you know what, like you're too much trouble, and it's not even trouble in itself. Like he's staying out of trouble as far as legally. There's no drug issues that we know of. It's not that type of trouble, but it is a trouble aspect of you're representing our country, our company, our team, and our city, and you're not getting it. So you know what? If I'm the NBA, if I'm the Houston Rockets, and this keeps happening, like just stay home.
Yeah.
You're
sure.
more. You're worth more by not fucking up, by doing this and going out to places without a mask or gatherings and whatnot. You're worth more by just the aspect of we don't know how bad it can get. So just stay home. Because if this is a snowball effect and all you do is you continuously go to clubs, continuously, keep with your philanthropic ways of just like helping these single ladies out or single mothers and trying to pay their way through college, if that's the whole notion that you want to keep doing, then stay away and not hurt our team. So that way another team that sees you will be like, you know what? I guess that if he were to come to our team, we could help him out. We could kind of steer him in the right way. Maybe he just doesn't want to be there, so he's self-sabotaging the issue. But the more he does this and the more, negative light that comes out, the value goes down.
For sure. Yeah. The way I look at it too is like he is something else, right? Top 5, right? Top 5 player in the NBA.
I think it's higher.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely up there. Is he considered great though? I mean, when you do stuff like that, you see there's no sacrifice. He's not sacrificing. He's not
But
stopping
I
himself.
think that he misunderstands when people say that, like what you just said, and that's a perfect way to describe. But I think he misunderstands, and like I said, his perception's off because when you say sacrifice, he's thinking, I put my heart and soul into practice every day.
sure, yeah.
I'm a gym rat. I do this. I love to play basketball. All I do is be the best player I can possibly be through the physical form and art of playing of the game of basketball. But then what he doesn't understand is like sacrificing staying home at this time. Don't go out at 2 or 3 o'clock without a mask or go out to a club and not hurt your value, not hurt the team, not cause and add to a postponed game. Be a leader.
Be a leader. That's the biggest part to me.
You know,
man.
Yeah.
he wants to be the leader, right? He owns the Rockets. Obviously
He wants
not,
to be
but yeah,
Dennis
but he's-
Rodman. So
Yeah,
he
he's
wants
the
to.
partier, right? Yeah.
But that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
That's a great point,
But
yeah.
the difference between Rodman and Harden is Rodman was not the star or the
Right.
leader of that team. Granted, when Rodman showed up, he was there 150% and was an athletic freak of nature, right? But Harden is expected to be even more than that, and
Absolutely.
to lead by example, and be a role model and be their franchise player. You know, like,
See,
and
but I
represent
think
the
like,
city.
He's always tried to be that, right? But now that he doesn't want to be the leader for the quote unquote Houston Rockets, he doesn't care anymore. Now you're seeing that whether it's on purpose or not, you're seeing that self sabotage.
It makes me think about the quote he said about Westbrook when he came out and said that he wanted Westbrook to be the leader. Remember when they entered when they entered the bubble?
We talked about
it.
Yeah.
But it kind of like it feels a little bit more in context now. Where
Very
it's
good.
like I think back then maybe, because I still rooted for him and I was rooting for Westbrook as well and just the Rockets in general. I was like, man, I love the intensity that Westbrook brings, and if he can be a better like leader, however you want to like put him in that role or whatever, I was like, all right, I could see it. But now it's like, well, was he just like slowly? Maybe he was already starting to check out even back then or however long ago, and he's
Yeah, it could
wanted
be.
to be kind of like out of
Yeah, he
out of
just
that
didn't want to be in
light.
the spotlight. He didn't want to be in the spotlight.
Well,
is what it
I
seems
think
like.
when we brought up that quote, he said something along the lines of Westbrook has come and he's automatically the leader, right? And it just brought me to a point where it's like, oh, you're not an alpha. You want to put
Yeah.
up the points and you
That's-
want to score. You want to do that. You want to be like
Yeah.
the alpha maybe on the court.
Yeah.
But when it comes to leading men, you're not that.
And I heard so who's I don't know if it was a headline or maybe somebody tweeted it. I forget. I'll find it out. But they said that they realize now that Harden can't win a championship as the best player on a team. He has to do it as the second
Wow.
best.
Yeah, that's a reality check right there.
And I think that maybe he's realized that,
Yep.
by now. And I don't know. It's just that's tough. And that's our star now.
Yeah, I wish-
So where do we?
Definitely wish him the best, and then all I can ask for is I hope you prove us wrong. Because we're all thinking like you're not in on it for Houston, but I hope you prove us wrong. You're listening to us right now, aren't you? You care about this podcast.
Yeah. Well, we'll end with that, but I do want to get into a little bit of what you got going on with Blueprint.
Oh,
Company
man.
and try to. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, so we just finished up some really cool shoots. I got to work with Tecate, the beer company. We did a
Almost that,
little
like,
music
6ix9ine?
video. Yeah, no, it was, but it was a
It's like
Mexican
the
rapper,
Mexican
dude.
version. Oh,
Yeah,
wait, he
it
had
was.
both Mexican.
Yeah, and they had someone that, I mean, he didn't have like the crazy hair, but yeah. So we filmed that. We filmed a commercial with Amazon last week.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week I believe. And got to film Carl Lewis, the Olympian, the legend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got to
Nice.
film him last week as well too. That was a lot of
He
fun.
lives here in Houston, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hometown hero.
Yeah, so we do that. What else have we been working on? Finishing up some music videos. We work with a car company called Mo Muscle Cars, and man, they do some crazy
Check them
work.
out.
I want to
They
check
do
that
some-
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
My son's really
cool.
big into cars, so.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll show you some videos after this. But they're really cool. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to these guys up here. We got Luce Coffee, who is over here on Ella and 34th, I believe. They make some of the best coffee in town. We always try to
Nice.
support our local people around here. We got them.
sure.
We have T-Sip as well. They are a
Purple Haze.
lady-only tea company, and they kill it, and they are amazing. They're on 19th in the Heights. I love their tea. They have, like, I don't even know, 60 different types of tea, and it's all good. I was never a tea drinker until I got into them, and, man, this Purple Haze right here, by far my favorite. Delicious. And then we also have Bravado Spice, which I bet some of y'all know they're on Hot Wings. What else are they on? Ooh. They're everywhere. They're all over stores. But started out in the Woodlands. I think they're in Houston now. But man, they've come up big. So just wanted to give a shout out to them.
Shout out to Jeremiah and James.
And Spencer.
Yeah.
You got anything going on, Khoa?
No, I got nothing going on.
I'm
trying to worry about these 3 championships that I'm in, guys. 3. It's more than both of you combined.
Like you said, you get involved in the most fantasy leagues as possible to get into 3
No, what he said that happened to him, it's gonna happen to me. So like
you're gonna get
I'm the
disinvited.
newbie that got invited and is gonna get kicked out within the first year. So
well, no, I don't know if people know this, but Khoa just started working with us, so he's been our shooter and our editor. He's been great so far.
You go. See, I told you, being humble.
But what I told him though is that if he wins, he's getting fired. So, so just keep that in mind, sir. Come Tuesday.
Oh no, it's official now.
You might not have a job.
It's official now. It's on record. Uh-oh.
Hey man, I don't want that energy on my podcast, man. I hope you lose.
No. I'll take.
I'm just bitter because
we're neck and neck. I think we're projected the same, like 120 something, something.
We'll see.
What do y'all think about projections? Sorry, we're not going to end it yet, but what do you think about projections?
Oh no,
do you actually care about projections
at all?
Not every time I get a high projection, I'm like, this means I'm going to have the shittiest.
Oh, I feel terrible.
Possible.
I feel terrible at high
pay
projections.
no attention to it, but I also do it in the sense of like I don't set up my lineup. Like I'll have people that are not playing or like on a bye week, and I'll have them on the bench until the last minute because I don't want that to influence anything.
Yeah.
Like that's a good idea. I like that. I like that strategy.
I never look at it, and if I do, it's just gonna just drive me up the wall because I say balls deep, and I just get into all the numbers.
It's almost like I don't know if there's an option for you to turn it off.
I wish they could.
And I wonder if like how that would help so that you can make your decisions a little more blindly, because obviously you see that and it's like even if you don't pay attention to it, it's fucking there. It's right there.
Right.
So it's like, do I want to go with let's say you're stuck between 2 receivers, like someone who's projected 13 points or 9. You know what I mean? It's like that could be a big difference, but who knows? Like there have been some players that have had low projections that have done great. That have like one that comes to mind for a couple of games that I've actually started in, Gus Edwards. Gus was never projected to be anything above like 6 points. And I guess if you count the average of like his entire season, sure, it's probably around there. But, for certain games and certain, with Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins and whatever out, like it was a Gus show, especially I think last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was just, again, but still projected low, so
I would pay more attention to the projections. I would pay more attention to the draft projections more than I would the actual projections of week to week. You know what I mean? Because there was basically an experiment with your friend of yours that did a draft all by auto draft, and I think he ended up winning the league.
Yeah, we have one this year in our league, and he just lost. Oh, yeah, Dakmioff Hardman just beat him last week. The Scorpions.
He was the auto draft.
Yeah, he auto drafted, right. And he had a pretty stinking good draft too.
Yeah,
it was just like it works. Yeah,
I mean, how do you feel about auto draft?
I don't care. Do whatever you want as long as you're playing. I think that's
like
the biggest part.
Exactly. Like be involved.
Yeah.
Don't
even
just,
if you suck, I still want you involved.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst. Yeah. That's the worst fantasy player for me. Like if you're just disinvolved and you don't care at some point, I don't really care for him to be back. Or him or her, or whatever.
Yeah. Chris would have something to say about that.
Yeah, he did not like that.
What, just like auto drafting?
Auto draft, yeah.
Most people don't.
Robotic. It's not like the human element to it.
I agree with that, but you know what? Whatever strategy you have and it gets you wherever you are, good for you. As long as you're not cheating, I'm cool with it.
In the other league that we have that we're in together, there's a guy. His name is Brian, and he, I think, usually always auto drafts, and he just kind of is like very, I don't care, whatever. Like I'll get who I get, but he does just like Scorpions does. He keeps up with the season very well. Is on the active on the waiver wire and whatnot. So he's not just a robot. But Chris can't get over the fact that he auto drafts. And there's one year where he beat me because of who was it? There was some running back that just completely blew up. This was like 2 or 3 years ago, and we were in the final, and he beat me, and I was like, I'm so mad that I lost to a motherfucking auto drafter. But I still like give him credit because it's like you kept up with your team, like you know what you're doing. But anytime you like we talk to Chris, man, fuck Brian, man, motherfucker, just like cut him a break, man. Like like a lot of times. He would draft, but he just, he sometimes will draft at a weird hour and he'll just have to work or sleep for work or something like that. So
also, if you don't keep up with football, if you're not religious about it, man, you're going into a draft with you don't know. You're like, all I know is names from last year. How's that going to help you? Rookies, and whatever. I don't care. And like I said, I do whatever strategy
that's pretty much
works
me
for you,
every year.
But if you're not religiously into it, it's probably a better idea to auto draft. Just
I don't know how much research you guys do before a draft, but I rarely ever do. It's not that I don't want to, but
I listen to podcasts all the time. That's my thing. I listen to the fantasy footballers and fantasy pros and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not to get ahead and cheat and stuff like that. It's just to keep the names relevant. Just
I do at the beginning of the season, week 1 through 6. Because those are the ones that they know, I guess, the dark horses more. They can see the trends and the tendencies a lot better because they have a whole database. So it gives you a good amount of information that you probably wouldn't do on your own time or get it from anywhere else. I think they're actually, when you say footballers, the fantasy footballers, there's another podcast I can't think of. They're really good about it so much better, in my opinion, than ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like ESPN when it comes to injuries. Like Sasha, I can't remember her last name, but she's really good at that, and she kind of gives you a timetable when they can come back. But the fantasy footballers, they deep dive into it. They get statistical. Like I said, there's trends and stuff. But after week, say 8, 9, 10, I stopped listening to them because at that point, everybody that's going to be good pretty much is good. There's no real surprises at the very end.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I guess all you would look for is waivers, who's on the waivers that could be good, potential, blah blah blah. But it's a crapshoot when it comes down to after week 8.
It's so funny because Chris really got mad, and I was telling you about it. Mm-hmm. Chris got mad because he's like, I cannot believe you actually think you're a better drafter than me, a better GM than me.
God.
I beat him 4 times across 2 different leagues. He was 0 for 4, and he finally beats me in the semifinals by 3 points. And he was before, of course, he actually won. He was like, man, there's no way you're better than me. And I told him, dude, at the end of the day, it's just by chance. We don't know. You get an idea who's good or not, but we don't know who's going to get injured. We don't know who's going to get COVID. I chose Christian McCaffrey. He played 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I had Saquon in my other league.
He had Saquon.
Yeah, that was
Saquon,
awful.
right?
I mean, he wasn't a bust because he had 1 game and then it was over. 2. I don't even remember.
Yeah, and I picked Gollum up.
Yeah.
At the there was yours was Mike.
Mike Evans?
Davis. No.
Davis.
Mike Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Davis, and I picked up Gollum, so it was at no point.
Oh.
Sorry. Did you knock it out? Oh.
Edit.
What did you do? Talk. At no point.
Hey, we're back now.
At no point did we actually think that, okay, I'm going to pick up Mike Davis or Gollum to back up, these top tier running backs to be okay, yeah, we're gonna win the league with these people. No, but it is what it is. It's all a crapshoot, but it's fun. Like I said, the camaraderie.
Are you saying Gallman or Gollum from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I what is it?
Well, that's his new name. Gallman is now
Gollum.
Yeah, Gollum. Yes. Yeah, you've now nicknamed Gallman, Wayne Gallman.
The amount of
Too
names
long.
that we butcher on this show is hilarious.
Hey,
dude.
I'm
good.
like number one.
I mean,
Like-
those are all good nicknames.
Like
now, so-
Tillman Frittata. dude. I think
That's
that
funny.
should just be his name.
Oh, I got a
dude.
question for y'all, and we'll try to
Yes.
keep it short. But what is what is the best thing about fantasy football to y'all? Like, what is it that keeps you going? Like, what is it? Is it winning? What is it?
Oh, John wouldn't know anything about that, so
I see. Here we go. You're looking for me, bro. You're looking for me. All right. How many games did you beat me in? One?
probably none. I don't
Okay.
fucking
Okay. All right.
know. Yo, is it me?
Yeah, we're looking at you.
Oh man, I think so. I would say fantasy is what got me really into football. Like I liked football, and then when I started playing, I forget when the first year that I played was, but I was completely in over my head. Like I feel like most people are when they start playing fantasy, but then you start to like get into stats. You start getting into watching players and teams that you never would have imagined
Exactly. Yeah, that's my
you
favorite.
cared for. And that's something that like I really actually enjoy, because before, it's like, okay, you root for your team, and that's your team, and it's like, oh, like when Sunday is on or whatever, like I don't care about any other team. But now it's like every time there's a game on, like you talked about earlier, NFL Red Zone is like my shit
thing. Love
Right.
it. Love it.
on Sunday. That's one of the best things to ever happen.
Don't have to touch a remote all
Dude,
day.
It is amazing. And if I could put NFL Red Zone on like one screen and then the Texans game on the other, I was just like, this is perfect. This is
Life.
this is my fucking Sunday. Which actually, a little side note, what was it? Isn't there like with the new like stimulus bill or whatever, Trump is trying to make
yeah.
illegal streaming a felony?
Yeah.
About 10 years.
10 years. Fucking
Jesus.
stupid.
That is insane. Like
I
the
don't-
shit that
I-
he's
dude,
worried
I-
about right now.
Right.
That's never gonna work.
I don't want to get into politics. It's just a rabbit hole that I've gotten
Yeah.
into these past few days, and it pisses me off, to be honest with you. And I'm not even getting on party lines. I'm talking about like both sides at this point, government at this point. And I'm a big proponent of government. I love our system and the way it's set up, but like, damn, they're getting away with some shit. Just ridiculous right now. Like you brought up, they're trying to finagle and squeeze in these laws
Dude,
and stuff
he's
on a
in the-
stimulus bill.
He's in the home stretch, man. He's trying to make his fucking mark, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
No,
yeah, to
my
answer-
my
That's it.
my thing is, like, first of all, I was always into sports, right? And I was always into stats. So I was like,
I
these
never
stats
was.
that I am going to get into, they're gonna project in me doing well in the fantasy. And for the most part, like I consider myself a pretty good fantasy football player. I've won a few leagues. My average is probably like not like 50%, maybe like I just think you play with a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing. But my average is probably for every 4 leagues I play in, I win one. So I'm around 25%. The one fantasy football team that I know Chris has won, I was his co-GM. So you're welcome, Chris. So like I think I'm about 25%. But what really gets to me is my ego. Like I like to prove people that I play against that I'm the best at knowing who's gonna be good, knowing who's gonna project well, regardless of the projections that Yahoo or ESPN put up. Like that feeds me. It feeds my ego. So that's what, and everything that comes along with it, camaraderie and shit talking, and obviously.
Yeah, that's the best part. You get to hang with your homies on Sundays, talk shit to each other. It's just waiting for 12 o'clock kickoff. You're just like, this is the best. Those first like 3 weeks are like the best. At 12 o'clock, you're just like, it's finally back and the madness is here. All the kickoffs at once, like, I love that stuff.
I don't know if y'all remember this, but this is way back when I first got started. My Sundays were Dave and Buster's, where they had the NFL ticket on every screen.
Oh, yeah,
I would
that's
sit
nice.
at a table, watch all the games, and just drink Guinness all day, bro. I was like 300 pounds.
Jesus.
Wings and Guinness all day. And I would stay from like 12 o'clock to at least 6, 7 o'clock. And I'll watch the night game at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thing on Sundays. But yeah. But
It's the best.
Beautiful.
Football's the best.
listen.
Out of any sport, what's the best sport?
Tennis.
Tennis? Really, yeah.
Easily.
no, that's his.
I'll play fantasy tennis.
Fantasy
Is that a
tennis-
thing?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a thing.
I'm-
Everything. You can
hey,
bet on
yeah,
anything.
Yeah, for sure.
But fantasy though, it's a what do you call it? An individual sport.
Yeah, you just,
I'll fucking do it if it's there.
I don't think it's fantasy per se, and I'm sure there could be one, but I think what it is like betting is like the more.
no, yeah.
well,
you
they have
can-
that. No,
on-
I know
you
they
could
have
bet
fantasy
on
tennis. I know
anything.
they have fantasy golf. I mean, that's
Really?
one player. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how it works. I would never play it. They
I'm
have
gonna
fantasy
look that up.
NASCAR. They have
Oh
fantasy
my
anything
God.
now.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, e-gaming. That's a fantasy thing.
But you know
too.
where fantasy
That's
comes from, right?
crazy.
Fantasy. You know where it
No.
original?
Where?
It started with baseball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Started with
yeah.
baseball, and they changed it over to eventually football. Baseball was my first love. So baseball, I like the fluidity of basketball, the way that they have to play both sides of defense and offense. But football, I think, is if you want any aspect of any type of gamesmanship, as far as strategy, like you remember when we used to play kill the man with the ball, or
Can't say the
Kill
word
the
anymore.
man
you
with
can't
the
say
ball.
the
Smear the thing.
you can't do that anymore. But like what is it? A flag, steal the flag or something. Anyways, when it gets down to the nitty gritty and everything that encompasses, football's it.
It's
Football
it, man.
is-
It's just the best.
That's
don't
why I
know
think
what it
fantasy
is, but-
translates to football so much because
yeah.
you're in it too. You're in that dog hole and the trenches where you feel like it, and you strategize and everything that comes along with playing the actual game. You feel like you're the coach and the GM. And you play these little chess pieces. So I think that's why it translates so well with fantasy and
just love
fantasy
it.
sports.
Just love it.
Yeah,
Well,
it is the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been this Sports Chat podcast. You know what it is. Thank you so much, Brian,
Appreciate it, man.
blessing us once
Yeah.
again with your presence.
Tell them
Well,
where you could find Blueprint Film Company.
Oh, I believe you could go onto a website. It would be Blueprint, BLUEPRINTFILMCO.com. We got some good stuff on there for you.
for sure. I'm gonna check out some of those car videos.
Oh yeah.
All right, Khoa, been a good little fantasy football breakdown. I hope y'all got a little bit of that in your system. And ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah. You see a little Christmas tree next to you?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Happy
yeah.
holidays.
Happy holidays,
Happy
everybody.
Hanukkah.
Thanks for
and
checking us
Kwanzaa
out.
And whatever else holidays.
Whatever else you want.
Whatever you
I
celebrate.
stopped really doing like individual holidays. I just happy holidays.
Yeah.
I
everything,
think it covers everything.
You can celebrate whatever you want.
Yeah. And I just realized, this is going to be the last show of the year.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Why can't we do it next week?
Because that'll already be in 2021.
Next week?
Yeah, you dingo.
It's not next week.
Yeah. How many
Oh,
days
wait.
in a week do you have?
Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe this guy is smart. I don't know. Let me look
Is
this
it?
up here.
All right, maybe we'll do one more, just depending on how
Good
How we
job.
feel.
Wow.
Yeah, if you
I'm
still have a
taking
job.
I'm taking an extended
We'll
break.
see what happens Tuesday if you're
I'm
even
taking an
here.
extended break from now until.
Well, let me ask you, as a
February.
Muslim, what do y'all celebrate? I'm just joking, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I am out.
Yeah.